Welcome back, folks. You're listening to Aging with Power on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Myles McNamara, your host. We are talking with Daniel Segal and Jeff Albert of Total Senior. When it's time that your parents or maybe even yourself needs a helping hand or a transition out of the home, Total Senior will come into your world and vet, which they've done with all the facilities that we were talking about before the break. And Jeff, we're going to shift gears over to you for a second because you are here in the Santa Clarita Valley as Daniel vets the places in the San Fernando Valley. We talked about the difference between a board and care and an assisted living facility. And what is your job as far as when a family comes to you? What have you done to vet these places? What are the things that you look at? What are the things that people don't know they don't know?
Okay, well, one of the first things that I get and when working with families is where is the home located? They want a place that's geographically close to either their family member's doctor, close to the family member's home for visits, things of that nature. So that's one of the things that we drill down is where these neighborhoods are. And having grown up in Santa Clarita, Canyon High alumni, I know the neighborhoods fairly well. The second thing we do is when we visit these places is we check the ratio. Is it 3-2 or 3 caregivers for the residents, 2 caregivers for 6 residents? We also look at the demographic of the residents in terms of some homes in Santa Clarita are specifically female only residents. Others are what's the acuity of the residents. There are homes out here that specialize in cognitive impairments ranging from dementia to Alzheimer's, who has hospice waivers, who can handle bedridden patients, things of that nature. So when the families come to us, we already have these cataloged. We collect 4 pages of information on each home before we even enter them into our database. So we can match up the perfect home based on geography, based on the needs of the patient, and the family members' needs, budgetary needs, et cetera, and we offer that personalized level of service.
And obviously, you have in your database the status of their license. Have there been complaints? Have there been warnings issued? The quality that they have a history of. I mean, I'm assuming that's all in your database as well.
Absolutely. Different budgetary levels, though, we hope doesn't affect the level of care. But that is another issue that I've run into quite a bit out here is the cost. There's a spectrum and what you get for that spectrum in terms of the home.
And when you're vetting the licensure and the complaints and the clean records, so to speak, what do you find the most common shortcomings of some of these board and cares are that you would warn a family about?
I haven't seen anything really egregious out here in the Santa Clarita Valley. Some of the things that I've seen in terms of complaints is little things such as if they do have dementia or Alzheimer's patients, that when the inspector was at the home, the alarm to alert when the doors open wasn't functional at that time, or the hot water was too hot. Those are kinds of some of the things that I've seen.
So just one of the unfortunate parts of the senior care industry of the assisted living world is they're monitored by the Department of Social Services, and their scale for coming out and assessing whether a place is good or bad is very objective, but in the wrong ways. They don't necessarily go out there and identify, is this place providing good care or unsatisfactory levels of care. They come in, they measure your water temperature, they check the expiration date on your fire extinguishers, they make sure you have door alarms if you have dementia clearance, they make sure that the furniture is relatively clean and not destroyed, they make sure that there's enough food reserves in case of an emergency. If you have an earthquake, they check your reserve of water and that you have an emergency stove. They look over things that they can monitor from a distance every few years. What we come in there and we check out is we really look in the details of what does the shower look like? Is there a step into the shower, or is it a roll-in shower? How difficult will it be to get your mother in there if she needs 2 caregivers to help get her in there? Do they have a Hoyer lift on premises? If weight is an issue and they need assistance lifting or transferring into a wheelchair, are they prepared to do that? Is the food cooked at home? Are the soups out of a can, or are the soups made from scratch? So we go in there and take a more of a subjective look and really try to assess what would matter to us for our loved ones if we were placing ours. We try to take a personal approach to everything we do, and we let the legal side work itself out. We have an understanding of how Department of Social Services works. We'll provide links because all that is public information. Any family can go and pull the records for citations and violations, and we very often encourage families to do so before they make a final decision. But we try to focus more on the subjective side. What do we see and what do we think is the right fit cognitively? What's the right fit physically, getting the care you need, geographically, budget-wise, and medically, making sure they're safe in that
the
environment.
dynamics and the compassion of the staff.
Absolutely.
Of course, we know there's a lot of turnover and such in this industry, but again, I'm sure you guys stay on top of that as well. So, but you're right. The objectiveness of licensure infractions. That's just, it is what it is. It's more that intangible stuff that you guys look at. Now, what is the cost to the family for this?
Well, the range in Santa Clarita, it can go anywhere from starting around $2,000, and that would be for a shared room in a boarding care facility. Up to close to $7,500 to $10,000 for one of the larger assisted living facilities, depending on the level of care. Again, that's something that the families typically work with the homes on because of the assessments that are involved in that. We generally can provide them with a really good idea, but because of our relationships with the owners and the administrators out here, sometimes we're able to, even though they have a stated rate, because of the relationships we build, we're able to work on that with them to find something that's going to be budgetarily feasible for the families.
And in 30 seconds before our next break, you mentioned something that I don't want to assume other folks know you're talking about. You mentioned boarding cares that have a hospice waiver. What does that mean?
So hospice services are provided by a hospice company. It's typically been known to be an end-of-life treatment in the comfort of your own home. They don't provide treatment or cures. It's really about providing comfort. And so a hospice waiver allows a boarding care to have a resident that's essentially bedridden in many cases, but to have nurses come in through this hospice company and provide medication, whether it's through a syringe, higher level medication. It's more intimate and personal care that's provided by a third-party company, but you have to have a specific license in order to be able to allow them into the facility.
Okay, well, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, want to know how families get a hold of Total Senior? Want to know what it costs to utilize your services as a family? Want to know any closing remarks you'd like to share? So I'll give you 3 minutes to think about that while we're at our next commercial break. Don't go away, folks. You are listening to Aging with Power on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to Aging with Power, folks. I'm Myles McNamara on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're wrapping up a great show of a great information. And if you missed any part of the show, or you want to refer friends to listen to some of the information you've heard, our podcasts are always available at hometownstation.com. Just go to that address, click on podcast, go to Aging with Power, and you can listen to any of our past shows. So again, that's hometownstation.com. But we are wrapping up with Daniel Segal and Jeff Albert of Total Senior, a company that helps families find placement opportunities for their loved ones, be it a boarding care, which where more acute hands-on care is needed, or an assisted living facility, which may have some levels of care, but it's more of that cruise ship on land feeling with activities and such. So again, Jeff and Daniel, how does a family contact Total Senior? What are the fees to the family to contact Total Senior? What would the process be?
Well, first and foremost, it's important to note that the fees for families that work with us is there is no charge.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, we're free to the families, and I can be reached directly at 661-313-3270. We also have our website, which is totalsenior.com. That's the best way to get information about us and to contact me. And
what was that number again, Jeff?
661-313-3270.
Okay. And the website obviously has contact information. When you say it's free to the family, how can that be?
Oh, easy. We don't charge the family any money to call us and to work with us.
So it's important to understand that the facilities that you guys vet, the facilities that you have your pages and pages of vetted data on, is your relationship with those facilities that allow you to give the services to the family for free.
Correct.
Okay. And if an assisted living level of care, I'm sure you see people outgrow assisted livings and need to go to board and cares?
Yes.
How prevalent is that?
We see that all the time.
Okay.
It's, we're here to provide the right service for the right person. Family calls us. Sometimes the largest assisted living facilities will reach out to us and say, we have a resident that really demands a lot more attention throughout the day. They need a little bit more of an intimate and personalized care model available to them. They're not taking advantage of socialization opportunities here anymore. And the focus has shifted from activities and socialization to care and safety. And that's really where the boarding care may be the better option at that point. The other part to know is the financial side is assisted living homes, you paying for your room and board, you're getting 3 meals a day and activities and transportation, but all the care is charged separately. In a boarding care, it's all in pricing. So you pay one rate and you get everything you need included in that rate.
Very good. All right, folks. Again, you can contact Jeff out here locally at 661-313-3270 or go to totalsenior.com. Jeff, Daniel, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And Ms. Dardeau from our Santa Clarita Valley Senior Center. Some closing remarks, a synopsis of our home delivered meals. It doesn't have to be permanent. It can be temporary.
That's true.
You can volunteer. Go ahead and give us your closing remarks and some contact information if someone needs the service or wants to volunteer.
If someone wants to join up as in our volunteer force or ask about any of our services, actually, you can reach us at 661-259-9444, or you can go to www.scv-seniorcenter.org.
Don't forget that dot after the www.
Don't forget that www.scv-seniorcenter.org.
And if you haven't already, folks, mark your calendars for Saturday, February 27th at the Hyatt for our annual Celebrity Waiter Dinner benefiting our Santa Clarita Valley Senior Center and all the amazing programs they put on over there. Thank you to the co-chairs of that event this year, Brian Kegley of Pool and Sheffrey and Peggy Rasmussen of Spirit Properties.
Vanessa Wilk is our co-chair.
Is she really? Oh, you have 3 co-chairs.
Is that awesome?
I'm so sorry, Vanessa. I did not know that. I apologize. But anyway, again, 661-259-9444. Call the Senior Center. Get involved. Donate. Help. Anyway, that does bring us to the end of our show, folks. Again, thanks to Daniel and Jeff from Total Senior and Rochelle from the Senior Center. If you ever have any specific topics that you'd like me to address, please drop me an email at Myles with a Y at comfortkeepers.com. I will get the subject matter expert on the show and we will address those issues. I love feedback. I love to hear what you all want to hear about, what you want to learn about, because we talked about preparation is knowledge and knowledge is power. So again, Myles with a Y at comfortkeepers.com. We're sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care, and I'm Myles McNamara of Comfort Keepers In-Home Care. And remember, folks, aging is not a disease. It's a journey. So do it with power.